We've just wrapped a year filled with unforgettable memories and experiences we've only dreamt of having. Before we dive into a new chapter, we're hitting rewind to relive the moments that turned our dreams into reality. We kicked off our year by announcing our biggest travel series yet. Our little family will be flying halfway across the world to experience multiple destinations in Asia. We took you along on our packing journey, which, spoiler alert, was a whole new ballgame now that we're a family of 3. Packing for just the 2 of us used to be a breeze, but with Skylar in tow, we packed enough to start a small country. From winter jackets for Japan to lighter clothes for warmer spots, we covered it all. Oh, and let's not forget Skylar's packing. This girl had more outfits than we did. Clothes, toys, snacks, and plenty of entertainment for the flight.
And so, the traveling has begun. But, plot twist, we made a last-minute plan along with our family to head to Los Angeles for some quality family time before Asia. Once we touched down in LA, we were greeted with excitement. Skylar got to meet the family and we shared a delicious breakfast at Metro Cafe. The best part? Skylar had a mini post-birthday celebration with the family to make up for lost time. We then headed to Griffith's Observatory for the first time. The views of LA were breathtaking. We also explored the Hollywood Walk of Fame and we had some fun striking poses with the celebs. Our day wrapped up in one of LA's most luxurious shopping district, Rodeo Drive.
We had our first Disneyland adventure as a family, and it was nothing short of magical. Skylar's first Disneyland day was all kinds of adorable. We grabbed her a first visit button, and since it was January and her birthday month, we made sure she got a birthday pin too. After much deliberation, we picked out her first Disney ears, and then we took it easy strolling through the park, enjoying the sights, sounds, and characters instead of rushing from ride to ride. We hopped aboard the Disneyland Railroad for a scenic tour around the park, and grabbed some barbecue skewers at Bengal Barbecue. Disneyland with a baby was definitely a new vibe. Way less running around, more character meet and greets, and a whole lot of food breaks. We loved it though. And we knew Skylar will get even more into it as she grows. We ended the day with Skylar's first rides. Her eyes sparkled as she took in the lights, the music, and all the magic. It was so much fun to watch her take it all in. Overall, Disneyland was even more magical than we imagined. New memories were made, and we've got some more Disney adventures ahead.
Okay, we're officially kicking off our journey to Asia. No more last-minute pit stops. And this was the first time we ever flew business class. The flight itself was packed with luxury, from the complimentary slippers to the real glassware and cutlery in business class. Not to mention, we were living our best lives with all the storage and entertainment options at our seats. Skylar even got a special seat for herself as we made sure to book a spot for her in our lap, perfect for this stage of her life. We took turns savoring our meals and checking out all the amenities. And when Skylar fell asleep, we were able to kick back and explore the spacious seats, complete with footrests, pillows, and blankets for ultimate comfort. Even though we had some turbulence, we couldn't help but feel grateful for this amazing experience. We couldn't wait to see what Japan has in store for us.
After zipping through Tokyo on a bullet train, we landed in Kyoto. Excited for adventures ahead, Kyoto was chosen as the first stop for its traditional charm, and it didn't disappoint. Bundled up in the chilly weather, we ventured to one of the city's most iconic spots, Fushimi Inari Taisha. We navigated the stunning Vermilion Gates, feeling the magic of the place we'd seen countless times on social media. The whole experience felt surreal as we learned about the rich history of the shrine. Then our journey continued with a visit to the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, where the towering bamboo shoots amazed us. Then, we indulged in a unique baked sweet potato creme brulee, something we'd never thought to try before. But it was a delicious mix of sweet and savory. We wrapped up the video exploring the Osaka Shrine in the Gion district, learning about the ancient history of the area. Skylar was getting tired of all the walking, but we powered through to find the best katsu restaurant in Kyoto. The food was incredible and the restaurant staff were super friendly. We were grateful to have found such a gem.
We had some big plans for the day, including a visit to Super Nintendo World. Skylar's first Universal theme park experience had us all giddy, and we were keen to explore the park's new areas and relive memories from our past Universal trips. The atmosphere was slightly different with everything in Japanese, but the friendly staffs and adorable costumes kept us all in high spirits. After grabbing a quick bite, we ventured on to see the parade. It was our first Universal parade as a family, and Skylar was in awe, though she had no clue who Super Mario was yet. The fun continued as we entered Super Nintendo World, which felt like stepping into a real-life Mario game. There were plenty of interactive games to try, and while Skylar wasn't quite old enough for the rides, we were able to take turns with the child swap feature. Unfortunately, our Mario Kart plans hit a snag, but I braved it while Nat stayed with our little one. We wrapped up the day with a promise to return soon, making sure Skylar had all her needs met and looking forward to future adventures. Universal Studios Japan may have been a bit too much for a little one back then, but next time, Skylar will be ready.
We were ready to dive into the street food scene in Osaka. Our first stop, the iconic Glico Running Man photo spot. We snapped a pic before the crowd swarmed in, then wandered through the lively streets with some shops still waking up for the day. We grabbed cash for the street food and kicked things off with takoyaki, octopus-filled bites that were crispy on the outside and tender in the inside. Next, we tried a $10 yen cheese bread, a sweet savory pancake with mozzarella. Skylar woke up just in time to join us. As we explored, we saw quirky billboards including a moving crab and a sushi restaurant with a giant tuna display. We couldn't resist the buttery gyoza, topped with green onions and mayo. We discovered a fresh orange juice vending machine and Skylar loved it. Then we found a giant candy-covered strawberry and daifuku filled with red bean paste, and Skylar tried them too. After a whirlwind food adventure, we ended our Osaka day on a high note, reflecting on how much we love the food, the sights, and the excitement. Our Osaka journey was unforgettable and we couldn't wait for the next city.
We started our chilly day in Nara, Japan after an hour-long train ride from Osaka. Unlike Osaka's busy transit, Nara's simpler, more relaxed vibe had us feeling right at home. We explored the streets, soaking in the blend of traditional and modern architecture, and stumbled upon a famous mochi shop that had an early morning line. The mochi was so soft and delicious, we devoured every bite, red bean filling and all. Next up, we hunted for a kimono rental shop near Nara Park, and after some searching, we found one. It felt like the perfect place to try a traditional attire, especially in such a historic town. Skylar even got a little kimono, though we had to improvise since they usually start at age 3. Wearing kimonos felt amazing. Though a bit tricky with all the layers, the rental was affordable and it was one of our favorite parts of the day. We then visited Nara Park to feed the famous sacred deer. Armed with special deer cookies, we had fun watching them interact with us, even though they were well fed by the time we arrived. Afterward, we made our way to the Todaiji Temple. The temple was grand, though Skylar had fallen asleep by then, and Nat had to carry her. Not the most convenient with all the kimono layers, but we made it work. We wrapped up our day with another visit to the mochi shop because it was that good, and then returned our kimonos, ready to rest for tomorrow's journey to Tokyo. Skylar ended up picking up a souvenir, a little deer she named Nara, before we called it a day.
After exploring the Kansai region, we finally made it to the bustling capital. But first, we took a detour to Disneyland for a little fun and to reunite with Max's brother, Martin. Skylar was a bit surprised to meet him, but they hit it off right away. We made our way into the park a bit later than planned and immediately felt that familiar excitement. We got Skylar a special first visit sticker, which was adorable, and we couldn't help but reminisce about her first trip in Disneyland LA. We explored themed vending machines like the one with Baymax, grabbed snacks, and tried the famous little green dumplings inspired by Toy Story. Skylar's favorite ride was definitely It's a Small World, which was even more colorful and expansive than we remembered. We also checked out the new Beauty and the Beast area and rode the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast. The ride was so immersive, and the little teacups guiding us through was pure magic.
We'd step into Tokyo DisneySea for the very first time, and oh boy, it was like magic met the sea. We were instantly captivated by the park's unique charm, with Skylar joyfully running around in what we felt like her perfect playground. From the towering volcano in the center to the crisp winter air warmed by sunshine, the day promised a blend of adventure and coziness. Meeting Disney characters right at the entrance was a delightful surprise. No lines, just warm hugs and photo ops. King Triton's Kingdom became an instant family favorite. It was a paradise of kid-friendly rides, play areas, and indoor warmth. Perfect for chilly days like this. Even the changing and nursing rooms were themed to the Little Mermaid, much to Skylar's bubbly delight. We indulge in smoky chicken legs, tapioca drinks, and Mickey Mouse churros. Skylar might have had a sugar rush, but hey, it's Disney. Memories are worth it. We wrapped up our day with the iconic Journey to the Center of the Earth ride, marveling at the fiery volcano centerpiece. Meanwhile, Skylar was back in King Triton's Kingdom, probably having just as much fun, if not more. We ended the night dancing with Mickey and friends, basking in the glow of another unforgettable family adventure. This Tokyo Disney Resort experience was a treasure chest of core memories we'll cherish forever.
We ended our adventures in Japan by diving into Tokyo's culinary scene, starting with Shibuya. Crossing the famous Shibuya crossing felt like stepping into a movie. Skylar even did her own tiny walk across the world's busiest intersection. And yes, we may have crossed it multiple times just for the fun of it. Our foodie journey took us to Ichiran Ramen, where we savored what might be the best ramen ever. Each booth gave us our own cozy space to dive into streaming bowls of tonkatsu ramen. Even Skylar had her own spot and happily munched along. The broth? Perfection. The flavor? Mind-blowing. Next up was the historic Tsukiji Outer Market, a seafood paradise since the 16th century. We devoured fresh oysters, salmon, and sea urchins that tasted like the ocean itself. Skylar of course skipped the sashimi but didn't miss out, enjoying a grilled wagyu skewer that melted in her little mouth. Max and I were left marveling at how something so small packs so much flavor. The market experience wasn't just about food, it was about history and atmosphere. Though pricey, it was worth every yen. We also stopped by the newer Toyosu Fish Market to see where the famous fish auctions had moved. A massive, modern complex perfect for seafood lovers. From Shibuya's bustling streets to wagyu bites and ramen bowls, Tokyo delivered unforgettable memories. It was a mix of history, flavors, and family moments we'll treasure forever.
We kicked off our adventures in a new country, South Korea, starting with Seoul. Our first cultural deep dive led us to Gyeongbokgung Palace before having wandered into the Starfield COEX Mall Library. Even as non-bookworms, towering shelves and natural light left us awestruck. The charm of tradition pulled us next to Bokcheong Hanok Village, where snowy rooftops painted a magical scene we'd never expected after leaving Canada. Exploring these preserved homes felt like stepping back in time. Our day reached new heights with stunning views of Seoul's skyline from the village elevated baths. Hungry and adventurous, we stumbled upon a cozy restaurant in Insadong. The meal, a spread of colorful side dishes, sizzling meats, and hearty soups, warmed us against the cold. The rich flavors of Korean cuisine were a fitting reward for a day. Seoul has been a whirlwind of culture, history, and food. As we wrapped up our day, we felt grateful to have shared these moments, promising there's more to explore and enjoy in the days ahead.
After wrapping up our Seoul adventures, we hopped on a scenic 4-hour train ride to Busan, ready to dive into its hidden treasures. Our Busan adventures kicked off with a dream come true, renting beautiful hanboks for the whole family, including little Skylar, who was ecstatic to dress like a princess. We wandered through the Gamcheon Culture Village, a kaleidoscope of colorful houses and murals perched on a mountainside. From there, we sampled local treats like the strawberry tanghulu, then we braved the icy weather to visit Hyundai Beach. It was stunning even if the chill kept us from dipping our toes. The area was brimming with delicious food options, and we couldn't resist an unforgettable Korean barbecue feast nearby. Watching Skylar experience her first barbecue moments was priceless. Even though she was a bit impatient for the cooking to finish. Our days were a blend of relaxing strolls, tasty snacks from convenience stores, and arcade fun. One highlight was securing tickets to the Sky Capsule, despite it being notoriously hard to book last minute. Though we had to wait for hours, the surrounding area gave us plenty to explore. Busan enchanted us with its energy, warmth, and charm. Every corner offered a new memory, from colorful vistas to cozy cafes. We left with full hearts, happy bellies, and a promise to return someday.
After South Korea, we flew a little more south to Hong Kong, and we have a feeling you can guess where our first stop was. Yes, Hong Kong Disneyland. This was the third country of Disneyland adventures, and Skylar took it all in like a pro, dressed as a Princess Anna, ready to rule Arendelle. We hopped on the Disney Resort line, felt that familiar spark as we approached the gates, and dove right into the magic. We explored the enchanting world of Frozen, where our little Princess Anna walked through Arendelle as if it were her kingdom, from the snowy mountains to meeting Anna, Elsa, and even Olaf. It felt like stepping into a storybook. Skylar even had her first taste of ice cream, and let's just say, Olaf's head didn't stand a chance. The day wasn't complete without indulging in a massive turkey leg, catching vibrant shows, and soaking up every ounce of Disney magic. The Festival of the Lion King was a showstopper. Even though Skylar snoozed through it, watching her tiny adventures made this trip unforgettable. We wrapped up our day reflecting on how far we've come as a family and how special it is to share these experiences together. Hong Kong Disneyland wasn't just a park, it was a treasure trove of joy, laughter, and love.
We had an incredible time exploring the vibrant streets and iconic landmarks of Hong Kong. We kicked things off at the Tsim Sha Tsui Promenade, taking in breathtaking skyline views and braving the wild winds near the harbor. Then we strolled along the Avenue of the Stars and geeked out over Bruce Lee's statue, reminiscing about our childhood spent watching his legendary films. We navigated the maze-like harborfront mall for lunch, marveling at the variety of cuisines. Max couldn't resist the Japanese teriyaki, while I opted for a comforting Chinese pork bone soup. The ladies' market in Mongkok was a whirlwind of bargaining and shopping. It wasn't exactly baby-friendly, but Skylar found her groove with the new Minnie Mouse bag, proving she's already a pro at souvenir hunting. For a grand finale, we ventured to Ocean Park. We marveled at the Grand Aquarium, said hello to pandas and red pandas, and indulged in an adorable panda-themed treats. Skylar's delight at everything from the animals to the desserts was the cherry on top. Hong Kong swept us off our feet with its blend of history, culture, and modernity. We left with happy memories.
After a long stretch away, we finally made our way back to the Philippines. We kicked off our adventure with a week of heartwarming reunions, reuniting with both sides of the family and introducing them to Skylar. Seeing her light up their faces was priceless. Then, it was off to Boracay, one of the most beloved tropical destinations in the Philippines. It was our first visit in years, and the first time visiting as a family. So much had changed on the island. Skylar's curiosity kept us on our toes. She marveled at her first tricycle ride, hesitated at the sensation of sand on her feet, and dived almost literally into the joys of beach life. We explored familiar spots like D Mall and discovered new ones like Robinson's, which felt like a sign of Boracay's evolution. Of course, no trip to the island will be complete without fruit shakes from Jonas. Between savoring buttered garlic shrimp and celebrating a special birthday, we soaked in every moment. The fine white sand, the turquoise waters, reminded us why this place held such a special place in our hearts.
After navigating a long journey, ferries, flights, layovers, we had finally arrived in Coron, ready to soak up the island's beauty. Suri Resort itself was a delight, offering plenty of space for us. But the real magic began when we hopped on a private tour for some island hopping adventures. Skylar, armed with her floaty and endless curiosity, joined us as we made our way to Kayangan Lake. After a short hike, we were rewarded with its serene, crystal clear waters. Surrounded by towering limestone cliffs, Skylar giggled as we dipped into the refreshing fresh water, and we savored the peaceful moments as the crowds arrived. Our next stop, Twin Lagoon, brought a mix of tranquility and excitement. I took a kayak through a narrow passage to explore the second lagoon, while Max soaked in the surreal views from the deck with Skylar. The clarity of the water and the dramatic landscapes made every moment feel like a dream. Between adventures, the laughs, the Skylar impromptu naps, Coron lived up to every expectation. From the pristine lagoons to the smallest joys like fresh laundry, this slice of paradise had captured our hearts. And with so much more to explore, we couldn't wait to see what the rest of our time in the Philippines would bring.
When we flew back to Manila, reunited with familiar faces, flavors, and the buzzing warmth of the Philippines, settling in BGC felt like coming home. From our cozy condo near Uptown Mall, we strolled to restaurants, shops. Skylar also marked a big milestone, her very first haircut. At a charming kid salon, she sat like a champ, leaving us teary-eyed as we saved her first locks for keepsakes. our cravings led us on a nostalgic food crawl. We had turon drizzled with chocolate, taho with tapioca pearls, and roasted lechon. Trips to SM Mega Mall, Green Hills, and local stalls fed our bellies and soul. Easter brought laughter and golden egg hunts with family, and our Green Hills adventure rekindled memories of shopping and dining. We even returned to a beloved Chinese restaurant where years ago, Nat and I had once dated. This time, we shared rice bowls and laughter with Skylar by our side. This trip wasn't just about food and places, it was about connection. Manila welcomed us back with open arms, and we left with hearts fuller than ever.
Our Philippines adventures came to an end, and it was time to experience a new country. Our adventures began with a long journey, 2 flights and a Singapore layover, before finally arriving in Bali, Indonesia. Exhausted but thrilled, we stayed near the airport for a night and set out for Ubud the next morning. The Ubud town center welcomed us with its vibrant markets and warm locals. Despite the intense heat and occasional rain, we embraced the weather, slowly adjusting to Southeast Asia's tropical climate. Our stay at the Wanakarsa Hotel made exploring easier. We marveled at the famous Tegalalang Rice Terraces, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, arriving early to beat the crowds. With baby Skylar in tow, we appreciated how some areas were designed for accessibility, making our visit more enjoyable. We skipped the pricey swings but soaked in the serene views over a poolside coffee. Skylar had her coconut fix, and we found ourselves charmed by Bali's fusion of local traditions and modern comforts. The Sacred Monkey Forest was a unique experience, monkeys roaming freely, creating an exciting and slightly nerve-wracking adventure. We were careful to respect their space, no food or eye contact, and we were rewarded with memorable encounters. To top it off, we indulged in Bali's iconic floating breakfast at our villa. Skylar splashed around playing with a spoon in the pool, while curious monkeys from the nearby forest made cheeky appearances. Thankfully, the hotel staff handled our mischievous visitors like pros.
After immersing ourselves in Indonesian culture, we decided to switch things up and check out family-friendly attractions for Skylar. First, we moved into a beautiful villa in Ubud, complete with a private pool, which Skylar's already obsessed with. She practically wants to dive right in every chance she gets. The villa has been amazing, with tons of space, a big bedroom, and a huge bathroom that Skylar has been running around in. Then, we headed to Bali Zoo. We were excited to explore this animal paradise where animals roam freely, and Skylar even had a blast feeding some elephants. It was a first for us too, and we loved how gentle the elephants were. We ventured to the Bali Safari and Marine Park. We were lucky to get tickets after some uncertainty, and we had a fantastic time. The park is African themed, and it felt like a safari, with plenty of shows and animal encounters. We even got to see a giraffe up close, which was absolutely surreal. It's been so special for us to experience these moments as a family. We've been loving Bali and can't wait for more exciting adventures ahead.
After soaking in the beauty of Ubud's rice terraces and temples, we set off for our next adventure, Nusa Dua. First stop, Nusa Dua Beach Resort and Spa, where we melted in the heat but couldn't help but be in awe of the stunning beach and the family-friendly atmosphere. Skylar had her first sandy experience, and though she wasn't too sure about it, we had to give it a try again. We wandered around, soaking up the relaxation, enjoying the crystal clear water, and checking out the resort along the beach. And we even visited Peninsula Island, and the views were breathtaking. Next, we made a surprise visit to the Water Blow, where a minor ticket mix-up turned into a fun moment. The vibe reminded us of our time in Hawaii, watching the waves crash dramatically, especially the high-end resorts, but with a much more budget-friendly twist. At the end of the adventure, we decided to treat ourselves to a splurge day at the Club Med Nusa Dua, where the food was endless and delicious. We tried everything on offer, talking about a food coma. And as we relaxed in the hammocks, we realized we might have just indulged in a little too much. But hey, it was the perfect way to wrap up our time in Nusa Dua.
We've just wrapped up our Asia travel series grand finale in Singapore. From the moment we landed, we could feel the humidity hit us at 28 Celsius and 78% humidity. But we dove right into exploring this incredible city. Our first stop, the iconic Marina Bay Sands, where we enjoyed the lush, clean surroundings, robots keeping the streets spotless, and the vibrant green spaces. We made our way to Merlion Park, where we couldn't resist joining the crowd for some classic photo ops with the iconic Merlion statue, open mouth and all. We even tried the Merlion popsicles, Korean strawberry flavor, delicious, and just what we needed to cool down. As we continued our adventure, we ventured to Gardens by the Bay, where we explored the free parts of this breathtaking garden. We ended the night with a spectacular light show at the Super Trees. The next day, we returned to Marina Bay Sands for more exploring. We had lunch at Lavo, an Italian restaurant with stunning rooftop views. We soaked in the vistas of the city, including Gardens by the Bay and downtown Singapore.
We decided to go deeper, checking off hidden gems from our bucket list. First stop, Sentosa Island. Even though a thunderstorm almost cancelled our plans, we powered through the rain, hopping on 2 gondolas and a monorail to get there. We loved the huge open ocean exhibit from the Sea Aquarium, and we even caught a feeding session. Afterwards, we tried Singapore's famous hawker food at Lau Pa Sat. The salted egg chicken was so crispy and delicious. We then headed to the jewel Changi Airport, not just an airport but a giant shopping and entertainment hub. We wandered through the Canopy Park and marveled at the topiary sculptures. The highlight? The rain vortex, the indoor waterfall that took our breath away. It was a jam-packed day, but we wrapped it up feeling so grateful for the incredible experience we've had.
After wrapping up an incredible travel series, we took some time for ourselves and enjoyed the summer break back in Vancouver. We resumed filming but answering all your questions through a Q&A. We talked about food experiences in Asia, budgeting, and booking trips, including planning a year in advance and using miles for flights. We discussed how we manage work, travel, and parenting with flexible remote jobs and shared experiences of traveling with Skylar, and we also answered questions about future travel plans in Asia.
After months of traveling through Asia and coming home to Canada, we missed the travels and adventures, so we booked our next trip, a 5-hour drive to Cannon Beach, Oregon. When we arrived, we were caught off guard by the chilly weather, definitely not the warm beach day as we expected. Still, we explored the beach and admired the surfers, even though the cold and fog made us bundle up. Our experience was more North American beach than the tropical ones we'd grown used to in Asia. Cannon Beach turned out to be a photographer's dream, especially with the iconic haystack rock, home to puffins and marine life. We even grabbed a quick lunch at a seafood restaurant, enjoying the famous fish and chips and clam chowder. After a snack break, we wandered the charming town. We also ventured to Ecola State Park for an epic viewpoint at the entire Cannon Beach. We finished off the day at Hug Point Beach, exploring hidden caves and reflecting on our adventures.
We headed to one of our favorite coastal towns on Vancouver Island. Tofino is tucked on a rugged west coast, surrounded by towering forests and the Pacific Ocean. We couldn't believe how stunning it is still was after 3 years. We even revisited South Chesterman Beach, where we once took surfing lessons. There were plenty of surfers, and Skylar loved running around in the soft sand. A highlight of the trip was catching the sunset on the beach with Skylar, something we rarely get to do with her bedtime. We wrapped up with a visit to Pacific Rim National Park, where Skylar got to experience her very first hike on the Rainforest Trail. She seemed to love it, and we can't wait for more family hikes in the future. Long Beach was a perfect end to our Tofino adventure. All in all, Tofino gave us more memories than we could have asked for.
But the stunning ocean views aren't the only reason we love Tofino. The food here is absolutely amazing. We began our food tour with a delicious breakfast at Harbor View Coffee House, enjoying croissants and watching seaplanes take off. Then we headed for lunch at Taco Fino, the original taco truck that's become a local legend. We couldn't resist grabbing fish tacos, and they didn't disappoint. We even took our lunch to Mackenzie Beach to enjoy with a picnic. Next, we discovered Tokidoki, a Japanese food truck by Tofino Brewery. The food was top-notch, and Skylar was so excited to finally get some rice. The pork rice bowl and okonomiyaki were both delicious and making us miss Japan even more. For dinner, we treated ourselves to a meal at Shelter Restaurant, where we enjoyed great food with the view of the marina. Skylar loved the mashed potatoes and veggies, and we all savored every bite. As our last night in Tofino came to a close, we couldn't help but feel grateful for the time spent here. It was the perfect way to end our trip before heading back to Vancouver.
We set sail on an unforgettable cruise adventure from Seattle to Vancouver aboard the Majestic Princess, and what an experience it was! We were so excited to share our journey with Skylar, who was joining us for her first ever cruise. We kicked off the trip by waving goodbye to Seattle from the top deck, feeling the excitement of the adventure ahead. As first-time cruisers, our family was ready to explore and eat our way through the ship's many restaurants. We spent our days exploring everything from the ship's arcade to outdoor activities, and we even got a little competitive with ping pong, though, let's be honest, the weather wasn't exactly ideal for outdoor sports. Skylar loved the swimming pool and all the food. We indulged in plenty of delicious cuisines, including a hearty Italian dinner for Nat's dad's birthday. There were shows at night that totally blew our minds. By the end of the trip, we felt like we'd barely scratched the surface of what the ship had to offer. We had so much fun and can't wait to do it again.
We're back in Alberta for another adventure, and it's always been one of our favorite spots in Canada. The cold hit us hard as we drove through the Rockies, but the stunning snowy landscape made it all worth it. When we finally arrived in Banff, it was snowy and magical, and Skylar was already loving it. We woke up to a snow-covered Banff the next morning, and it was everything we hoped for. Skylar's excited to play in the snow, and we've got plans to make snowmen and angels. We stayed at the Juniper Hotel just outside of town with stunning mountain views. It's a bit off the beaten path, but it really adds to the experience. Even though the weather threw us a curveball, we're loving every moment in Banff.
We were in Banff during the holiday season. We explored Banff's snowy streets, discovering holiday decorations, meeting snowmen, and marveling at the town's Christmas charm for the first time. With temperatures dipping to -9 Celsius, we kept warm by hopping between cozy spots like the Cascade Shops. This year was extra special because Skylar was finally old enough to understand Christmas. We introduced her to Santa, gift-giving, and even took her to the year-round Spirit of Christmas store. The tree lighting event was a highlight, with a festive spread of food and Skylar meeting the big guy in red. Afterwards, we cozy up with the holiday treats and watch the magic unfold. We finished the night with some festive cheer and a new tradition in the making. Banff truly captured our hearts, and we can't wait to return next Christmas.
We continued our holiday festivities in Vancouver, starting with a cozy visit to the Vancouver Christmas market. Then, we headed over to Stanley Park's Bright Nights for some dazzling holiday lights and a train ride before we caught Disney on Ice. And Skylar's eyes lit up when Minnie Mouse skated onto the ice. It was a spectacle full of beloved characters and magic. Our next stop was Mount Seymour for our annual Santa visit. Skylar was dressed up as the cutest little gift, and while she was initially shy, she warmed up to Santa. We finished up Christmas morning unwrapping presents, with Skylar's excitement reaching new heights as she discovered her unicorn and other amazing gifts. From food and fun to family traditions and magical moments, this Christmas was one we'll never forget.
The holiday festivities took a little turn down south as we flew to Los Angeles. And wow, the weather was perfect. The sun was shining, but we still got the crisp winter chill. Our first stop was the Grove. We were just in time for Christmas festivities, and Skylar loved seeing Santa and the reindeer. The gigantic Christmas tree was mind-blowing, and the whole place felt so festive with all the decorations and music. Later, we hopped on the iconic trolley at the Grove, which gave us a full-on holiday vibe. The night was magical, especially when the snow started falling in LA. It wasn't real snow, but it felt magical, and we were in the perfect spot to enjoy it. The next morning, we reflected on how much fun we had the night before. It was a total win for our family, especially with Skylar, who was totally loving the Christmas lights and festivities. After checking out of our hotel, we headed to Santa Monica Pier to explore.
And we capped off our holidays with a final visit to Disneyland. We soaked up all the festive decorations, the giant Christmas tree, and the twinkling lights that made everything feel even more magical. Skylar's agenda at Disneyland included snapping a photo at the castle, riding a submarine to find Nemo and Dory, ride her most favorite ride of all time, and meet Minnie at her adorable little house. But the biggest highlight, the Disneyland Holiday Parade. Skylar's excitement was contagious, especially when Minnie's float appeared. The magic was undeniable, and when Santa came out, Skylar's joy hit new heights. It was a day full of wonder, laughter, and pure holiday cheer. We've been doing this for several years now, and every year seems to be a different flavor of adventure. What do you all think the flavor is for 2025?